They said it was just another date. Just another Tuesday. But now that September 23rd, 2025 has come and gone, no one is laughing anymore. 4 years. People argued, speculated, and mocked, but the moment passed like a shadow across the world, and something changed. Not with noise, but with a whisper. Now, as the world asks, what really happened? A pattern is becoming clear one. That began long before any of us were born. Are you ready to see it? First, we must look at the clock. Long before this date, prophecy watchers warned the 7,000-year timeline was nearing its end. Many held the view that humanity was approaching the end of a 6,000-year timeline, symbolizing 6 days of creation before entering a 1,000-year period of divine rest. Back then, most shrugged it off as fantasy. But when the world shifted politically, spiritually, and even cosmically, many began to wonder, was that ancient timeline real? Consider the numbers. From creation to Christ, roughly 4,000 years. From Christ to now, another 2,000 years. 6,000 years complete. And then came September 23rd, a day some called the turning of the clock. Others, the pause before the 7th day began. Now, looking back, the words of the Apostle Peter echo louder than ever. With the Lord, one day is as 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is one day. If that pattern truly governs time itself, then what we just witnessed was not a coincidence. It was the clock of prophecy striking its final hour. Next, we look to the heavens. On that night, millions looked up, not out of superstition, but because the heavens were moving in ways that felt deeply significant. It wasn't the first time. In 2017, the constellation Virgo mirrored a description in the book of Revelation, the woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars. 8 years later, in 2025, the heavens shifted again. Different stars, but a similar message of warning. Most dismissed it as mere chance, but as global tremors, fires, and wars followed, many began to connect the dots. The Bible says in Genesis that the lights in the heavens were created to be for signs and for seasons. And once again, the heavens spoke. Not in thunder, but in perfect, silent alignment. A message written in the stars for all to see. Then came the third sign, the gathering storm of nations. They told us unity would save us. But the unity that came after September 23rd did not bring peace, it brought pressure. Nations began to move in strange harmony. Economic systems intertwined, policies aligned, and words like global stability and a new era filled every screen. It was everything the ancient prophecies warned us about. Think of the vision in the book of Daniel, a statue made of iron and clay, representing a final world power that is strong, yet fragile, held together by fear, not faith. And from within this new alliance, new leadership arose. Voices that promised order and demanded obedience. The prophets saw this long ago. They said the world would come together, not to worship God, but to prepare for global control. And now, we see the storm of nations has begun to move as one. The fourth sign is perhaps the most subtle and dangerous. The great deception. After the day passed, something shifted not in the skies, but in the soul of the world. Everywhere, new prophets appeared. New spiritual movements rose overnight. New spiritual movements rose overnight. Cover the truth with convenience and confusion, the wine of Babylon. Miracles multiplied. Visions spread, but something about them felt hollow. The Bible warned of this. God will send a strong delusion so that they should believe a lie. Suddenly, people no longer rejected faith, they redefined it. Truth became whatever comforted the heart. not what convicted it. Even technology became spiritualized. Voices speaking from the digital void claim to deliver messages from heaven. But not every light comes from God. The great deception has begun, and those who can't tell the difference between truth and a beautiful imitation will follow the glow straight into darkness. Finally, we arrive at the fifth sign, the final convergence. Now, as we look back, it's also clear everything was converging toward a single point. The heavens aligned, the nations united, the faith of millions fractured. Earthquakes shook the ground, floods swept across nations, and unrest filled the streets. Fear had become the language the whole world understood. Jesus himself warned that before his return, there would be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. He spoke of a time when men's hearts would fail them for fear, and the very powers of heaven would be shaken. For generations, people mocked the idea of these things happening all at once. But now, after September 23rd, 2025, the pattern is undeniable. Prophecy doesn't point to a single date on a calendar. It points to a seasonal moment in time when all the signs, all the warnings, all the shadows merge into one overwhelming reality. The King is coming. We may have passed the date, but the countdown isn't over. It has only entered its final, critical phase. The clock didn't stop on September 23rd. It started, and soon, the seventh day will dawn. The world was waiting for a date to pass. Heaven was waiting for a decision to be made. Prophecy was never meant to inspire fear, it was meant to inspire faith. September 23rd, 2025 wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of the Great Awakening. The signs were never meant to scare us. They were meant to prepare us. Because even now, as the shadows lengthen and the world changes before our very eyes, one truth remains unshaken. The same God who wrote the beginning has already written the end. These signs are here. The pattern is clear. The prophecy has spoken. The only question left is, have you been listening? Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, where we believe prophecy is not just history written in advance, it's an invitation to see the world with new eyes. Stay awake and watchful, and stay blessed.